A wonderful red planet shining in the night sky. Mars has fascinated people since ancient times. We humans are dreaming of moving to Mars and returning this planet to what it once was. A planet with oceans and atmosphere again. Hello everyone. At the moment, humanity is in the process of sending more and more new probes to the fourth planet of our solar system to investigate. Welcome to this channel. What have we learned from recent surveys? Let's update our knowledge now. Then, let's begin. Curiosity mission. Of all the rovers launched to the surface of Mars in the last few years, perhaps the most famous is the Curiosity. It can be said that this is the most popular of the Mars rovers, probes on Mars. Curiosity is the fruit of years of concerted effort by NASA experts. The parts for this probe were all completed in 2008, but they had to wait several years for its launch. As is often the case with space exploration, launching a rocket with Mars in mind is not so easy. You have to wait until the planet comes in a position where the flight time is as short as possible. On November 26, 2011, the Atlas V rocket carrying Curiosity was launched from Cape Canaveral. Less than a year later, on August 6, 2012, the rover successfully landed on the Martian surface. Since that time, the probe has been surveying the Martian wilderness and sending us some really interesting images. Among others, Curiosity succeeded in finding sediments on the Martian surface that are found at the bottom of any river, lake, or stream on Earth. It appears certain that there was once a lake at the location where Gale Crater is now located. This lake was a fairly large freshwater lake that unfortunately dried up over 3 billion years ago. The theory that water once existed on Mars has been around for quite some time. For example, a heavily eroded area called an outflow channel was already discovered in 1975. By the way, please don't mistake this for the famous Mars Canale, discovered by Schiaparelli 100 years earlier. Thanks to the Curiosity mission, we now know more about the tragedy that occurred in Mars' hydrosphere than ever before. We now know that oceans and lakes disappeared from the Martian surface at the end of the Hesperian era, or 3 billion years ago. Water disappeared not because some tremendous cataclysmic event occurred once. Mars lost its atmosphere little by little, and with it the water was lost by evaporation. By the way, we covered this in detail in our video about Mars and Venus, so be sure to check it out. Where there is water, there is life. Thanks to Curiosity, we have learned many interesting facts about the biosphere that would have existed on Mars. For example, in December 2014, it was announced that a Mars rover had recorded a large increase in methane concentrations in the Martian atmosphere. And it soon became clear that these increases were being repeated on a fairly regular basis. This is a very strange phenomenon. It can be explained, for example, by the seasonal activity of microorganisms. Here is an important side note. The surface layer of Mars is more sterile than the best operating room in the world. Mars has almost no magnetic field, and its atmosphere is scarce and dilute. It is unprotected from the tremendous sunlight that disinfected the Martian surface so long ago. But Mars has an ice cap, so there may be life in the thick ice or deep underground. InSight mission. In contrast to Curiosity, which is capable of a wide variety of investigations and can do just about anything, InSight is a more specialized instrument. InSight's main task was to find out what is inside Mars, to investigate the composition and geological structure of the interior. The rocket carrying InSight was launched on May 5th, 2018, from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California, USA. 6 months later, on November 6th, InSight landed on the Martian surface to begin its work. In the past, many experts believed that Mars was geologically dead. In the 1970s, the spacecraft named Viking sent some data on Martian earthquakes, Marsquake, but the data was too unreliable. And finally, after a long time, InSight proved that Mars really shakes from time to time. The tremors are faint, but they can be felt. What does the fact that Mars is shaking have to do with us? That's what you may think. Well, what can I say? Because you are dreaming of moving to Mars, aren't you? If so, imagine if we built a colony and protected it well from radiation and other Martian problems. And if there were an earthquake there and damages to the systems that are supposed to be our lifeline, we would be in trouble. The grand story of the colonization of Mars would be prematurely interrupted. Additionally, the information from the high-precision seismograph mounted on InSight has allowed us to confirm previous data on the interior structure of Mars. In terms of interior structure, Mars is very similar to Earth, except for the lack of lithospheric plate movement. However, lithospheric plates used to move on Mars as well. The outer shell of Mars is approximately 50 to 125 kilometers thick. Under the outer shell is a molten mantle that is much more docile than the Earth's. There was a time when volcanic eruptions flooded the Martian surface with mantle, but a long time has passed since then. All of Mars's volcanoes are long asleep. And at the center of Mars is a small core composed of iron and nickel. Another finding by InSight is a magnetic anomaly on the surface of Mars. In some places, the magnetism is even stronger than on Earth. This has puzzled experts. This is because it was believed that Mars had almost no magnetic field and had never had one in the past. What could be the cause of these magnetic anomalies? In fact, it is quite possible that a strong magnetic field existed on Mars when it was still young and full of potential for life. But then some cataclysmic event occurred and the magnetic field disappeared. Maybe there was a collision with a large celestial body, such as another planet. In the early solar system, such things were not uncommon. For example, the Earth collided with a planet called Theia, which ejected most of its mantle into space, resulting in the formation of the Moon from it. It may also have been a large asteroid about the same size as Vesta that killed Mars. It is also undeniable that this unidentified killer may have taken most of Mars's atmosphere with it. It was once thought that Mars's small size and weak gravity and magnetic field made it impossible to maintain a normal atmosphere. But that is obviously wrong. For example, Saturn's moon Titan is smaller than Mars and has no magnetic field at all, but it has a thicker atmosphere than Earth. Whatever the identity of the cosmic killer is, it is his fault that Mars has become a lifeless wilderness. The planetary dynamo effect that generates the magnetic field has ceased, and the loss of most of the atmosphere has been a deadly combo. Water on the Martian surface was lost through evaporation and further broken up by sunlight. All that remains are sad remnants of former glory, such as magnetic anomalies, ice caps, and traces of erosion. Perseverance. Perseverance is one of the Mars rovers recently launched to Mars. This is a high-spec version of Curiosity with an improved design and state-of-the-art instruments for even greater precision. Perseverance's task is to search for life on Mars, and to collect soil samples and bring them back to Earth using special return equipment. Perseverance was launched from Cape Canaveral on July 30th, 2020, and successfully landed on Mars on February 18th, 2021. This is very recently. So, other than the discovery of a few interesting rock layers with mysterious blue stones mixed in, There are still no surprises to delight us at this point, but we believe all is yet to come. Well, we are nearing the end of this video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you like this video. Please subscribe and like our channel. And of course, please check back regularly for updates. Please don't miss any new interesting news from the world of science and space. With that, we bid you a fond farewell. There will be more interesting stories to come. Goodbye!